voice. There's my voice. There's my chat. All right, we're all set up. I do, like, when I record my little Instagram hot takes, I typically use OBS. And so I'm always, like, having to change it back to, you know, horizontal from vertical and vertical to horizontal and all that. How's everybody doing? It's been a long week. It's been a very long week. I've been doing media all week, which is very exhausting. I have to be like social nonstop, but it's been for a good cause. It's been for like the flock stuff. So, you know, that's worthy. But yeah, after I went to a town hall meeting on Monday and Jessica Burbank came down to Atlanta for it to kind of testify on her previous dealings with city councils and, you know, what happened with like some of the contracts and, you know, some cities getting fucked over and stuff. And then, yeah, they didn't call my name. And I was just like, all right, well, then I'll just do media for the rest of the week. Like, that being said, I'm a little upset, a little annoyed that no media is covering the tech dudes looking at cameras of children in a private gym. So that's a little disappointing. I don't understand. I want to say like I get why they're not doing it. I think it's that they're just scared to like make an accusation like that and their legal team's telling them not to. But these are public records. You don't really need to make any sort of accusation. You could just read the public records and write a headline. So it's like, hopefully that changes. Yeah, but anyway, speaking of that, before we dive into the audio stuff, this just, I've been, what is it? FISA section 702, I believe. It's the extension, basically to quickly explain it for anybody who doesn't already know this, the reason why things like Flock can exist, or the reason why your data can be sold to a data broker, and the reason the police have access to that is due to an extension of the Patriot Act, which initially was made for terrorists using American servers to try and catch actual Al-Qaeda members who were planning attacks in America. You know, so they said they were planning attacks in America, and so the idea was, you know, okay, we're gonna make this little extension, this section to FISA that allows us to, you know, allows law enforcement with a warrant, or, you know, if it needs to be expedited, just with like a subpoena or instructions, they could, you know, query American email servers. And somehow it keeps getting extended, oftentimes by Democrats, like Barack Obama extended it, Biden extended it. It keeps getting extended, and that's why everything is so out of control and fucked in this whole situation. like it, just because of that loophole that allows Fourth Amendment violations, and that's being voted on to extend it again. And it's a very interesting situation because there are a lot of like Democratic congressmen and congresswomen and senators, and there's also a lot of Republicans who are kind of on the opposite side of the issue. Like there's a lot of like far right people who are very, very against extending this. And then there's a lot of like Jim Himes, for example. He's a Democrat who's very for this, and he is totally full of shit when he talks about it. And so it's a really interesting issue. And I hope, man, that would be so cool if it didn't get extended. That would be so amazing. But yeah, definitely Google it, search around. While we're on that, this just came across my plate. I feel like I have like a political channel now, but this is just like, I don't know. Maybe reading this on stream would be a little too much, but it looks pretty dystopian. So I've not actually seen this before, so I will read that later and drink myself into a stupor as a result of reading it. And in the meantime, we can open FL Studio and let Lunacy Audio pave the way. Yeah. Do I need to make any declarations? Do I need to follow any FTC rules with this? So I own a very, very small part of Lunacy Audio. Just to declare that, I feel like I probably need to, or I should ethically, before covering any of their products. But I don't really have much say in what goes on there. It just, with me releasing a plugin there and some of the other stuff that they have going on, I was just like, okay, I would rather do this than invest something in the stock market. But it's a very, very tiny amount, less than I don't know the exact amount. It's that tiny, but it's less than 10% by far, less than 10%. So it's not like I get a paycheck every single time you buy a plugin. I wish I did. That'd be cool. But you know, another reason why I invested in them is, and other reason why I released a plugin with them is because they make amazing plugins, and their stuff's really inspiring. And I usually lose a lot of time playing with it, and that's the kind of thing I want to see happening more. So Virtual Riot, a friend of mine, this is actually the first time I'm really sitting down to play with this. I just sort of tested it to make sure it worked. He released a plugin using that works with Beam called Bismuth. Has anybody ever made Bismuth? You can make it with Pepto-Bismol. I don't remember exactly how. It was one of those things I did during COVID. I like made Bismuth rocks out of old Pepto-Bismol, and then it like crystallizes when it cools down. It's actually really cool. I bet you could just buy a chunk of bismuth online somewhere, and I recommend you do, although you definitely want to get like a pot from the thrift store that you don't mind destroying, because it will destroy it, but it is one of the cooler things to do. Reading the chat here. Ben, did you see you were in the Guardian newspaper recently, UK paper? Yeah, that would be George Cheedy. George Cheedy was the only journalist who showed up during our security demo when John Gaines and Joshua Michael were here. He's the only person who actually showed up to that, which was so frustrating because I knew once that video came out, I would be hammered by media around the country and even internationally. And that's exactly what happened. But it was so frustrating because I was like, please, I think I even made a Threads thing being like, please pay attention to this. This is going to be a really important showcase that we're doing. And George Cheedy was the only one to say, all right, I'll bite. I'll come down. He didn't know me. He didn't know anything about me. He was just like, all right, I guess I'll do it. And he drove all the way out here. And yeah, there's definitely, you know, the vibe where he's like, God, I hope this person's not full of shit. But no, he spent most of the day here and it was great. My dog Cora loves him. Mikey303 chews on raw bismuth when he has a tummy ache. Like just raw, just the rocks, just like chunks of bismuth. My mom says, what is bismuth? Bismuth is, how would you describe it? Kind of like, is bismuth a mineral? Would we call it a mineral? What is bismuth? What? A brittle silver-white post-transition metal with a distinct pink hue and uniquely expands upon cooling. Yeah. To show everybody what actual bismuth looks like, this is what it looks like. If you melt it, and it has a low melting point, if you melt it and then let it dry, it'll look like this. And it's awesome. It's like so fun to play with. So maybe my mom's birthday is coming up, so maybe I'll buy her a big chunk of bismuth. She could just ruin all her pots and pans with it. There's a UK advert for Pepto-Bismol. It's amazing. Well, I'll have to check that out if I remember. Yeah, so if anybody doesn't know what this is, it's Beam. And Beam is, I'm just going to load my very dry and boring electric piano sound because that's a great thing to check out effects with. Beam is kind of like its own little, has like plugins within a plugin, I guess, but a lot of these come with Beam, obviously. But one is taps and portals. Well, one is taps, one is portals, and one is bismuth, which are now add-ons to that. So essentially, let me disable my reverb here. There we go. All right, so we have this nice, like, boring sound. And then, yeah, so we have, like, space, which is a convolution reverb. You could extend everything really far. It has a bunch of different... IRs in there. Some, I mean, this came out a while ago. This is like three or more years ago. Some of these are actually mine, believe it or not. Probably the like warped textures and stuff like that. I kind of made like a physics IR pack for it, which is, you know, neat. Let's see if I could find any of them. Maybe wafer plate, maybe. maybe chaotic spaces. I feel like I've already done this on this stream. I've been like, where are my, they're somewhere in here. They're very odd. They don't sound natural at all. Echoes, maybe. Tonal cabinets. Somewhere in here I have a Euler's disc. But that could be a Euler's disc. Now it would be changing speed by now. Anyway. That's one of them. But we are checking out Bismuth. We'll check out everything, but yeah. Check my volume levels. So I assume this is in C. Ah, C major triad. So it's kind of like comb filters. I know that there's a name for this effect in EDM. I just don't remember what it is, like color something. Color core, color step. I don't really follow that world. Then we have like a motion, which kind of changes the filter around a bit. Color base, okay. Yeah, we also have a filter, so if you did want to do that, color-based stuff, and you didn't want to drive out your burn out your whole session with too much feedback. One thing that I do like, I'll show you something really quick. Oh wait, no, that's not where I want to do it. I want to do it in effects. This is something I just noticed now that I didn't really think about when I first read about this plugin, because I probably would have been like, oh no, I hope that doesn't happen with this plugin, but check this out. So I'm going to turn this off. We just have a normal comb filter here. Let me turn the feedback up. Okay, so this is almost where we want to be. Yeah, okay, so see what happens when we hit the comb filter on the actual note we're playing. So you'll have like it just burns out. Every time I hit C, it'll be like way too loud. And somehow this suppresses that in Beam. I mean, I know it's a comb filter, but it's somehow Bismuth is dealing with that very nicely. Yeah, am I going to play Piano Tech and to tap some portals at Infrasound? No, you know what I've spent my day doing today, aside from interviews? Trying to get like my own facial, I mean, not my own, it's like using a YOLO model locally, but I have like a Raspberry Pi 5 with this like souped up AI hat and this cooling system all in this like square box. And I have that hooked up to a flock safety camera. And I'm trying to get, I mean, I have a bunch of shit pointed at the audience that's like very creepy, like real-time time of flight stuff and all that. But I'm trying to get facial recognition through like a big flock safety camera that is shining infrared light on people. That would be nice and creepy. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to talk to my attorneys about, is there any risk in using an actual flock safety camera? Just because you could argue that it's brand damage or something, but I'll leave that up to them. But, you know, what am I going to do with this thing otherwise? Set up my own city. There is also well as spacing. Oh, nice. So it's like a harmonic of that. And then an arpeggiator. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure putting Bismuth. I can't wait to put Bismuth in Portals. That's like saving that. I mean, even taps, honestly, like even just like. You could also, I know that this has MIDI input as well. So if you wanted to have it always work with, so I guess if we just had like a drum beat. I like this beat, nice. Don't think I heard it before, but I dig it. Nice. Oh, that's insane. I love it. Yeah, it's funny because like taps is actually, I mean, we had this discussion a lot with Lunacy at the time. Taps is really, really hard to market because it's like you can't immediately think of a good idea for it or something, but it comes in handy so much in other ones. Like it's one of those things where you plop it in and you're like, whoa, which is, you know, I think why it ended up being there and it wasn't just Portals. Maybe 3 for each. Now I just want to play with the MIDI. All right, let's see if it works. Try a different port. This could just be like an FL Studio thing, because it is a weird way of routing things. Oh, I heard something. Maybe the octave's low? No, that doesn't change anything. Oh, there we go. Interesting. Oh God. It's not going to play anything, is it? If I'm not... I can't just step it in. We'll play the whole chord. Yeah. Heck yeah. Blindly. Blind composing. Oh. Should be C sharp. Okay, we have to keep the melody a little simple. Otherwise, it could get kind of difficult to interpret through resonance. Now it's just like an automatic melody generator. It has to be filtering the sound some way, because otherwise it would be over resonating on particular notes, and I could hear a little bit of a difference, but like I could hear a little bit of difference when I hit the note that I'm meaning to hit, but I don't think it's, at least when I was playing with Piano Tech, but it's not like, it's negligible in comparison to like literally every other bandpass filter. I don't know what this does. Is there a pop-up menu? I do really like this design of like choosing between low pass or band pass. Like you just sort of get to like shape it below. Actually, that's really clever. I feel like maybe I've seen that before, but I feel like I haven't. It kind of turned into a weird filter. I like how haze is like, I never really understood what exactly it was for, but it's like a really creative spring reverb emulator to me. Ben, are we getting a half track from you for the sim selections? Also, whatever happened with your GitHub Music Stems project? Mostly with GitHub, it was just GitHub doesn't like big files, and then you have to have large file support, and then most people don't have that. And so, like, yeah, it gets, I just need to host it somewhere else and maybe have like just the session file in GitHub or something. But yeah, like, yeah, at some point I just started doing like 24 to 32-bit 96K masters, and then GitHub was just like, F you. Yeah, GitHub's great for things that aren't huge, but once the files get big, like you can't really, I mean, I've seen some Unity stuff on GitHub, but like that's a really good example of why GitHub isn't full of Unity game projects or Unity game assets. It's just because it at some point it bitches at you about file size, and then also you reach your download threshold, or I don't know what you would want to call it. There's a limit of how many downloads you can have, or I guess how many gigabytes you can use per account. So it's just not the most ideal thing for that. The concept is ideal. the actual server rules are not. Wonder if we could. Yeah, I kind of want to try portals. I just don't know how I want to do it. I guess I'll get rid of the MIDI thing. Go back to this. Okay, this'll do. Fun sound. New beat. Like that. That'll work for now. That sort of glitch sound will actually sound nice going through this. It's nice and sustained. I guess we could also make like a step. I kind of like the idea of putting this in front of a wave folder. Make this twice as slow. I like whatever. I guess if we move this up to F. I mean, I guess for me, I would just remake it, but we are on a stream. We don't have time to remake things. I mean, this sounds like it's leading up to a break. This also sounds kind of like an Otto von Schurach song. No. I guess we don't need this in the effect chain, do we? I kind of want this to echo a lot. I want it to be like a creepy, distant echo. And I mean, you know, we have taps for this. Don't I have Abyss on here somewhere? Get some inversions here. Doesn't need to hold it that long at all. This will either work or it won't. Ah, I should space my chords properly. That might help it work. Nope. Couldn't get away with that C. We'll have to go to a D instead. And then I swear I had a bass that would fit with this at some point in my life. I want kind of a Hoover, but a very like muted, decayed Hoover bass. Guess I'll just go with old trusty. Could at least get a starting point here. Behemoth, maybe? Oh, yeah, kinda. Maybe I'll just use a plugin on the end of it, actually. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I'm still honestly like I feel like if I were still making music 24/7, if that were like not 24/7, but I were still making music more than anything else, which is what I did 5 years ago, um, I'd probably be like trying to make my own software at this point. But I also would be I probably would have migrated away from FL when the cloud stuff came in, because I feel like it kind of bugs me, and I haven't gotten past it yet. Like I'm okay, understand, I understand that new features come in, or I'd be using like an older version maybe. I don't know. I do like Bitwig, and I love that Bitwig runs on Linux. Like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't be using FL anymore, because I would, if I didn't have to do video editing and shit like that, I would probably be not using Windows anywhere anymore. Yeah, FL Cloud's like this whole thing over here. It's like, I get it. I mean, I understand how it's like useful for producers, like incredibly useful for producers, incredibly convenient. But I feel like it just has bogged things down a little bit. Just doesn't seem as snappy as it was 2 versions ago, Yeah, maybe I should just disable it and see if that works. I feel like, although, yeah, I feel like I use FL so little in normal sessions now, though, because I'm usually using like hardware sequencers and a bunch of other shit. Like, I feel like the sequencer that I pick out now is super important. I don't know. I don't really get campy about this stuff. I just like making music. It's like if I could make some music, I'm happy. It doesn't really matter. Like it's usually the idea that chooses the software. But yeah, I feel like it's the cloud stuff has just kind of streamlined it a little bit in a way that just sort of moved away from the new features that I used to look forward to in FL, which were like what made the piano roll what it is and what made some of the connect anything to anything else sort of ecosystem that it is. But I also understand how that's like super frustrating probably for a new person, or for a person who's like getting into making music, which, time to tweak things for them, not the power users. Flex seems okay. Seems fine. I mean, it's not my cup of tea in general. Like those types of sample library things aren't really my cup of tea. But I mean, I have like the back end, I have the programmer for it, which, sounds like it's like some super cool secret tool, but it's, just like a development environment. Just in case I wanted to make a piano or sample a piano for it or something like that. I just don't generally open up type of thing like Contact or Flex or, even Omnisphere really. Which is just, if I were still working on ads, I totally would be using that stuff all the time. But I never make music for any commercial reasons anymore at all. Like, so, I would much rather sculpt the sound if I actually have the time to do it. Or play an instrument and then edit it and put it through an effect, because I enjoy making it. I don't enjoy releasing it or sharing it. I very much hate that other part. Yeah. Oh yeah. We definitely need to leash in this bass. I need something dark. We need a filter on the end of this. Although I don't want to screw up with that comb filters. It's funny. It's like this. With the mix, it doesn't actually sound like it's coming from the bass that I put in. It sounds like it's like some other sound. It could just be using convolution with this type of patch. Yeah, it's like resonating too much too. Yeah, that's kind of more what I'm looking for. Okay, now we need a normal bass, but it doesn't have to be like extensive in any way, just for when the actual chord hits. That's like a complementary bass, that other one. Could even be this. Nice. You put more resonance on it and make it shorter. Yeah, that was the idea, to like make a sort of, I guess I don't think of it as an echo as much as I think of it as a call response. I love call responses in music. Like one bass is like into the chamber, like hello, and then the other one's like hello. It's like, I don't know. That probably doesn't make much sense, but in my weird head it does. Drums. What would I actually do for drums? this library. Maybe I'll just go to my, I think I have a bunch of old jungle loops somewhere in here. That would be a good, like, half-steppy. Oh, there we go. Ooh. We could try that. That sounds so 2001. See if we get away with this. Just need like a little sound. A little bit off. Sound like every little bit of this is being cut by tape. We'll try it on. It's also going to have to be like, sounds a little too blast beaty. I don't want this happening. Oh, I'm still going to swing the whole thing too. Like I want this beat to sound a little bit more dysfunctional than it is even now. I don't put plugins in my menu anymore because I've been upgrading my computer for the last year. It's actually up and running now, by the way. Anybody following that saga? I had to get a whole new motherboard, but it's up and running. It's just now I have to install everything on it and manage the rest of my daily schedule, which is crazy. Like a tribal type thing. Dung, 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 dung. It's like tuning a fucking oud. Maybe we'll use FL Cloud. Let's get some future voices happening. Man, I thought this stream was just going to be me looping Bismuth the entire time, but here we are. Packs. Genre. I don't know. Do I have any options for types? Instrument. Key. C minor. Vocals. Female.
Tell me you want me, tell me you need me, tell me you love me.
No,
Tell me you want me.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell you any of that stuff because your voice is too reverberated. We have one, only one at 150 BPM in C minor. That's a female vocal. Let's hear it.
In a city where everyone has something to hide, I'm the one they come to when they need the truth. In a city where everyone
What the
has
fuck?
something to hide.
Is that just like Envato outputting to FL Cloud? It's like, all right, yeah, you know what this song needs? A fucking British detective woman bragging about her skills. That's what I had in mind for this particular track. Thought that would be nice. Shirley Holmes. Whoa, what happened with that last note there? Yeah, this doesn't really fit the vibe. What's happening right now? It's not a voice. I guess it is. Fuck it. Let's see how it sounds. Gonna win a Grammy. Oops. I mean, it like fits melodically, but it also is annoying. Like I just don't. After one bar, that would. Two wanna be mysterious. I mean, fuck, we gotta try it, right? Yeah, I sampled this at a cafe near me. right, settle down, lady. Well, I guess there's not... I mean, I guess we could just leave. I mean, I guess I was kind of planning on leaving C minor anyway. I was thinking about, like, repitching the vocals. Ow! Like, I just need dry vocals. They're all so affected that I can't affect them myself.
Tried all the for you, everything's now empty. If you ask me for the same I'll die. You the one for me, but like me.
If you ask me for the same cow tide.
You make me do things that I wanna do.
All right, whatever. We'll just go with this. We'll utilize that MIDI input. Wherever it went. Nope, there it is. Okay. Wait, doesn't this have MIDI in? Yes, it does. All right, never mind. Thought I was losing it for a sec. Sorry, thinking. I don't know how advanced I want to get with the delay. I don't think we really need to get that advanced. This isn't ping-ponging though, is it? Maybe you should just run it. No, I don't think Bismuth would handle the voice very well. That'll do for now. Maybe supermassive. Let's just go crazy. I mean, the simple answer here that's not performative from a production level would be to fucking take this shit out. I don't know why I'm swearing. I'm not really that upset about it. Maybe I'm upset that it like took me a minute to realize that like clearly this is the best way to do it. Trying to think what chordy. I don't know if I still have an Antares license. I haven't used it in so long, and it just seems like the type of company that would like pull my NFR after a year or some shit. I'm like accusing them of things that like they've never done to me. I don't know why I'm saying that. Just maybe they didn't. Maybe I should open it up. I know that they have a choir thing, and I know that I remember it being kind of cool. Auto-tune vocalist, maybe? No. Just feel like Harmony Engine, would that be it? Yeah. Yeah. There's somebody who I've hired for camera work before, and that person, anytime I say something, they go, yeah. Yeah. And like after a while, I mean, I haven't hired them in a while, but it was always I was like, okay, it's not like a yes man type thing. It was just sort of like, it was always that same response. I could be like, yeah, there's so many red lights on this road. Yeah. It's like, okay. It always sounds like way too profound and performative. Just like that. That sounds profound and performative. Well, it sounds like Kanye-esque, doesn't it? Yeah. There we go. That's what we need. Got like a choir effect. Doesn't sound like a choir to me, but I think maybe I hit bypass. I'm not sure which is on or off. This sounds more like Imogen, but obviously not nearly as good. Crop circles in the carpet. my favorite mastering plugin. I mean, just to, you know, hear what it would sound like if I made a final version of this. Yeah, what I love about Elevate, I think is like an older version. I haven't updated forever. I haven't needed to. Yeah, what's great about Elevate is it's like so... It's like the only mastering plugin that I kind of want to hook up to its own MIDI controller and just be like, okay, like it's so... Like you're sort of mastering in harmonics rather than, you know, just solely compression and other stuff, but... Yeah, I think if I were like mastering someone else's music, I probably would. I mean, this might be in my tool chain, but I feel like for my own stuff, the mastering is like part of the, like I've never hired anybody else to master my music because I'm a control freak. So, and I'm also not, you know, not trying to break out as a musician or something. So yeah, I don't really need to be competitive with my mastering or sound super professional. I mean, there's like songs, Curly and tapes, like half of them are literally mastered to like crappy tapes just because it gave me the vibe. Yeah. Having a peek of the mastering process. Honestly, like I don't think I started doing that until I started hanging out with Mr. Bill, because he literally masters while he makes music. And then you realize, like, if you listen to his music, well, I mean, not that I like listen to his music all the time without the masters, but yeah, like when he's working on something or when he sends me like stems of what he's working on, and then when I hear the final version later or something, it's like, oh my God, mastering is so important to his overall tool chain. It's like 50% of his, maybe more. It's like, but I mean, it's genius. Like that's why people love his music so much. Delay Llama. Yeah, I remember Delay Llama. I mean, I don't think I ever used it in music, but like I think I had it at some point. It was like a freeware plugin, right? It was like an old 32-bit VST. God, and PSP Vintage Warmer 2 is like literally, I really, really wish. I mean, I'm not very close, but I would say I'm friends with PSP. Like I've, you know, when I was in LA, when we were at NAMM, we all went out to dinner and stuff. I like them. I have a good relationship with the company. They're great. I really, really wish that they could make a hardware rack of Vintage Warmer 2. Like I would buy that in a heartbeat. I would pay a ridiculous amount of money in a heartbeat for a hardware rack of Vintage Warmer 2 if it just did the exact same thing, but it was just a one rack. Well, could you have it in one rack? Yeah, I think you could. You could fit it all in one. Honestly, now I think about it, it wouldn't be, if you had like a 32-bit processor, that would actually, I say this like anything sells in pro audio now. I don't think anything does. I think we're kind of in a place where the whole market's stuck. Nobody knows what to make. Like I feel like the things that, I don't know, it's so weird because there's so many pro audio products that appear to sell well, but that's just because they're being hyped up on Instagram so much. And then you find out that, you know, the company's insolvent or something a year later. Yeah, and then there's things that like you don't really hear about. Like Melda, I think actually does pretty well. And it's like you never hear about Melda on like your general audio YouTuber Instagram space. You don't hear about like this new Melda tool is going to rock your world. Like you don't hear any of that. And so usually don't think of them as like a successful company, but I feel like on a professional level, a lot of people subscribe to their thing, their subscription service. Yeah, Boards of Canada. There's a new Square Pusher that I haven't listened to yet. I mean, I heard like one song from it and it had harpsichords, and I don't really like harpsichords. Like, it has nothing to do with Square Pusher, has nothing to do with it. Like, I just, for some reason, I don't think I like a harpsichord song. It's just like everybody has that instrument that they don't like, and harpsichord is mine. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that. I don't know. It's interesting, like Boards. I mean, they haven't released anything in like 15 years. Boards of Canada. That's so bizarre. They can't be making that much off royalties because they don't play shows. So it's like what they do, like get into like, you know, HVAC and then decide to make an album again. I don't know. It's always interesting when somebody doesn't release an album for a long time. I sometimes question, I don't know. I kind of went through this when Autiker was in town because I was throwing around the idea of making an Autiker video with them. And it's so weird to see that early 2000s, late 90s warp mysterious vibe that worked so well at the time, like the lore of Aphex Twin and the lore of Autiker and Square Pusher, and a lot of these people would be kind of dicks in interviews intentionally to like propel that. And again, it worked really well. But now in 2026, I just don't. It doesn't hit the same way. It just hits different. Or maybe I'm just in a vastly different position now where they're like no longer my superiors in the world that I'm spending all my time. So maybe I see it differently. But I thought about that a lot, and it kind of got me to back out of doing a video just because I didn't want to deal with the hierarchy. I'm an anarchist, man. I don't like hierarchy. Yeah, I just didn't want to deal with the hierarchy, and I felt like I had some emotions in there from back. Basically, what had happened was I really, really wanted to be a Warp Records artist for a very long time. And then when that moment finally came, and at this point I was already touring, I was already like selling albums and stuff. And when that opportunity finally came, I didn't have like a contract in front of me or anything, but basically it was like, okay, like we want to do something. But it wouldn't have been for like 2 years after that point because I think Ultra Visitor was coming out and like some other stuff. Like I knew the release schedule and mine just didn't fit. And then it was still kind of up in the air. And so that's when I got in touch. Somebody put me in touch with Sublight Records, which was in Winnipeg, and they didn't have a release out yet. Like they were completely starting out. And then Excel Music in Japan, and then Suburban Trash Bonnerwalks in Europe. And I was like, okay, I'm going to release red extensions of me for each, like in each region with a different label, because that just made so much more sense than the average Warp Records contract. And then Sublight, I put them in touch with Venetian Snares, and then they had their whole run, but Red Extensions of Me was like the first album. And then I never looked back. And then at that point I kind of was already like, I don't want to sign with another label. I'm done with labels. Like labels suck. and I'm so glad I did. Like, I feel like it's the best decision I ever made, but it was also, all of my peers were calling me stupid for doing it. I haven't played around with the Anukari, I don't know how to pronounce it. I haven't really played around with that much. I mean, I've, tested it, but I don't think I played with it. Oh, this thing, yeah. These. Yeah, I need to like get these up. I just have them up here because it gets brought to me every minute of every day if I don't. So I have to like put it up here and be like, okay, Cora, lay down. Yeah, and I do this a lot when I'm in meetings, which maybe makes me seem more powerful. If I'm, you know, if I were an executive and I was negotiating someone's salary or, you know, their benefits package. So, what do you need? What do you think you're worth? And I drop it on the floor and have to pay him way more. Do I have a schedule for sitting down and producing music? How do I handle writing times? I don't like, I got so out of that world. I mean, I used to just force myself to sit down and write music some like back in the day. And it was such a mistake. I feel like, I'm not sure I ever made anything worthy when I did that. Like you can't really force yourself to have an idea. No, I usually just long for time to make music. Like I don't have time to do anything. And so I just long for it. And, you know, a lot of times me making music now is just me playing an instrument like outside or something. I'll just take a break and, you know, do it that way. Or I'll, you know, do something like, you know, what I did here, maybe in a little bit more of a less open way, or in a way that's like probably a little bit more confusing or autistic or something. And then just close the session and go on with my day. Cause it's like, yeah, that was fun. I've been looking at, for the last 10 years, I've been increasingly looking at music as almost like a activity rather than something that I would sell, right? Like I don't like the idea of selling music anymore. I did not hire someone yet. No. Yeah, there's like, it's funny because there are people that like really fit the bill well, but they're hired by other media organizations. Like they already have jobs. So yeah, there are a few people, or they don't live in town. I mean, I was literally like, Jessica Burbank was here earlier in the week, and yeah, I was just like, oh, God, I wish she didn't have a famous platform because I would 100% hire her. Like she's a super adept researcher. She's really good at like finding content to report on. She can edit video, you know, all that stuff. But you know, that's just how it kind of turns out is you have to find someone who, if you find somebody who has skills, then they generally have their own platform and they generally have their own ego. Not in a bad way. Like, I mean, their ego is why they have a successful platform. Like they have an identity that they can present very well. And then it's, you know, at that point, why would they work for you? Why wouldn't they just work for themselves? Yeah, so it's always sort of that pushing around, but still going. But the problem is it also just takes so much time to train someone. I actually do need someone really, really badly for a specific reason. And I've actually talked to Jessica Burbank about this. I can't say it in the channel because the reason I need someone is because I need someone to go undercover for me, because this sounds like such a douchey thing to say. I never thought I'd say this in my life. I'm too recognizable to like investigate something and actually talk to the company and stuff. Like they would easily figure out that the video is probably not going to make them look great. And so they probably would shrivel up and you know, send me a cease and desist. So I've been looking for like someone who's not deeply associated with another journalistic organization. But yeah. You're sure someone out here needs a job? Who's out here that needs a job right now? I mean, a lot of people who came here for the film industry. That's another thing, though, is there's like so many people who came here for the film industry and they're good at like one thing. They're really good at lighting, you know, that's like cool. If I could hire 12 people, I would hire a lighting person too. But unfortunately, I kind of, well, yeah, being creative isn't a job, right? Like this is super controversial, and I've pissed people off by saying it. But if you're making music with selling it in mind, I argue that you're not making art. You're essentially doing a service. There's nothing wrong with doing a service. We all do a service. It's how we all survive. But the moment you monetize something, you're you're kind of losing that purity, that like, I almost think of it as like a childish purity when you make art. One of the examples that I think I used in like some conference, I was in some conference and I was having this debate on a stage with someone, I don't remember, maybe it was at a NAM or something like that. But the only example I could think of was, I was just thinking about my yard at the time. And I was like, if I needed a light in my yard because it was dark at night and I needed to let my dog out and I wanted better security. And so I went to Home Depot and I built a light pole and then I, wired it up and it lit up. That would be a service because I'm doing it for a reason that I will benefit from later. I wasn't necessarily enjoying it. Maybe I did just because I got some fresh air or something. But if I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed it so much that I went back to Home Depot and I bought more, and I kept buying more poles and more wires and more bulbs and fucking upgrading my power box and just building lights all over my yard because I just loved building lights. And all my neighbors are looking at me like I'm fucking crazy. And I'm running around my yard just haven't eaten in 2 days, just losing my mind because I love building lights so much. You know what? Like a week later, someone's going to drive by my house and go, that house is fucking beautiful. It's crazy. I love it. It's such a vibe. It changes the whole area. It literally makes our neighborhood more valuable to have that here. And other people would be like, that's offensive and it looks very different than everything else. That's art. Like, but it's so hard to get that in 2026 America. Like you have to kind of lose your mind to make art. And so it's funny because like I make music. I'll work on music for hours and then I'll delete the session and people think that's crazy, but it's like, well, no, it's art. Like I love the idea of not rendering it and then putting it on, Bandcamp. Bandcamp's fine. I'm not shitting on Bandcamp, but like, I love the idea of not thinking about anybody buying it, not thinking about anybody judging it, not thinking about, someone listening to it and then being like, oh, I can't believe that I listened to his advice on a plugin from that video 3 years ago. Like none of that is attached to music writing. Music writing is like a beautiful, I don't know. It's a beautiful, pure thing that it's a gift that most of us in this chat have. And I think we should all be more grateful for it. And I wish that more people thought of it that way. Like when they're upset about Spotify and AI music and stuff, because it's like you can communicate without language. You can actually communicate without the quantification of words. And that's so, so incredibly powerful and useful for your mental health and, just for your enjoyment. Anyway. Yeah, that's why I'm called the flash bulb, all those lights. No, I actually put off putting a light in my yard the entire time I lived in that house. But if I made a bunch, then, that would have eventually been art. But in that folk art anyway, and that just like, Leonard, I forgot his last name. He died like 10 years ago. The guy who made Salvation Mountain in California. Like I met him before he died. I brought him some buckets of paint just because someone told me, like, bring him buckets of paint. But this dude's been painting a mountain his whole life. And like now it's this famous place. He's just been doing it because he wants to. He's like, yeah, I just do it because I love Jesus. And so I'm just painting the mountain for Jesus, I guess. Like no reason. He's not being paid anything. He's just like, people are bringing him paint and he's spending every last dime on paint and painting the fucking dirt in the desert and like the Salton Sea in one of the least desirable places to live in North America. But now people go there to see Salvation Mountain. Leonard Knight. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, he was as strange as I would hope he would be when I met him. He was very old when I met him, but I brought him paint and he was just like, God bless you. I'm going to go over here, and then took the paint away. And like, it was almost as if he knew, the way that it felt, I think I was telling my friend, like like right afterwards, I was like, it felt as if he knew, like the moment I was born, some part of his brain knew that I would bring him paint at that exact minute. And none of it surprised him. And it was just as if it was like my job to bring him paint. and then like, me in his mind is gone forever and done. And he was just like, there he is. All right. God bless. And then just, I'm going to go over here now. Just like, it's so bizarre to just visit this old man alone in the desert and bring him paint for his little paint mountain. And he just takes it like a machine and then just stores it. But that's what's beautiful about him. Yeah. Yeah, but no, yeah, don't make music to share it, or don't make music. I mean, sharing music's great, and people need to continue sharing music. That's like what inspires more people to make music. But, you know, share it as an afterthought. Making it is the important part. You enjoying yourself is the important part, because people always complain about the music economy, and yeah, it's terrible and it's the worst it's ever been. I agree, it's awful, but then the most scarce thing in your life is time. So spend that time enjoying the time that you have here on this planet. Money's not as important as time. Like, Elon Musk can't get more time. He has more money than anybody else in the history of mankind, but he is as fucked on time as the rest of us. That's his number one enemy. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to go enjoy a 30-minute glass of whiskey before getting back to work. But hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. And the node in Beam, Bismuth. I don't know if you're asking that. Oh, the time. I'm not following entirely. Yeah. All right. Well, enjoy your time, everyone, and have a good time over this weekend, and I'll see you next week. All right, bye.